Hey everybody, and welcome back to TheErinSpace. My name's Erin, and this is indeed and in fact my little space and corner of the internet. Thank you so much for finding it and clicking on this video. If it's your first time finding one of my videos, it's a little bit of a different kind of a setup and format. Usually I'm out and about adventuring, Disneyland, at Universal. I live in Southern California, so there is just a ton of stuff that I can get up to here, and I usually bring you along with me. But I've decided, going forward, I'm going to add a new component to the TheErinSpace, and that's going to be more of a sit-down, podcasty type of a deal that I'm going to record once a week, edit, put out there, and it's basically going to be a chance for me to talk about everything that's going on in the park space, in my space, and give you a chance to get to know me a little bit better. So my name's Erin. I live in Southern California, and I guess that's all I'm going to share right now. Subscribe for more info. I love pop culture. I got my JP reppin'. I'm actually rereading the original Jurassic Park right now, the book by Michael Crichton. Oh my goodness gracious. I had forgotten how good it is. It's phenomenally fantastic. The new movie, that's something we can mention. One of the new movie news is out there. Jurassic World 4 is going to be coming out. It's going to be starring Scarlett Johansson. ScarJo to those in the know. I'm in the know, so I can say that. It's going to be starring Scarlett Johansson and Anthony Bridgerton. I'm blanking on his name. I cannot remember the actor's name, but he plays Anthony Bridgerton in the eponymously titled show on Netflix, Bridgerton. He's going to be in it. So I love all of those movies. When Chris Pratt rebooted it, whenever that was, 5 or 6 years ago, I loved that. I love the last one where they brought back all the OG crew. We had Laura Dern. We had Ian Malcolm, which is, of course, the amazingly talented, what is his name? Ian Malcolm, his name. This is why I need to have guests on my podcast as well, because sometimes my brain just doesn't connect the pop culture dots. What is his name? Ian Malcolm. He's super famous. Let me look it up. That is terrible. Does this ever happen to you where you're just like a super famous person or something you talk about all the time, you know about all the time, and you just simply cannot remember it? Your brain is like, sorry, no, we're closed for business. We're not going to be remembering this man's name. Jeff Goldblum! And I didn't look it up. And my favorite, I'm never going to remember his name, but Alan Grant. What's that guy's name? Who plays Alan Grant? Someone help me. Hey Siri, who plays Alan Grant? Sam Neill. Yeah, so remember they brought them all back. In my opinion, that was the weakest of the Jurassic World franchise movies. However, I still enjoyed it. And they rethemed the ride, my all-time favorite Jurassic Park ride, up at Universal Studios theme park here in Hollywood. But the Jurassic World version, I rode it again recently, last month, during the Universal Seasons Pass Holder takeover event they had. I rode it. It's good. It's still really fun. So is it as good as the Jurassic Park ride? Obviously not. But it's still good. So yeah, that is exciting. I don't know how I started talking about this. I guess just that this podcast is going to be about pop culture, theme parky things in the news, things in my life, blah, 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 blah. So that's out there in the news right now. In the summer of 2024, that is definitely out and about there. That the new Jurassic World movie, they're talking about it, which is really cool. Because I originally saw Jurassic Park, the first Jurassic Park, this iteration, when I was in high school. I was graduating high school and going to college. I went to Syracuse University, and I was in the marching band, and one of the first songs that we played in the Syracuse University marching band in 1993 going into 94 was the Jurassic Park theme song. Do 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 do. Anyway, so this movie, this franchise has been my life, and that's how I started talking about this. I'm rereading the Michael Crichton book, and it's phenomenal. It's such a great summer book, too, to reread. And I say reread, I read it in high school, so that was a very, very, very long time ago. So it's basically like a new book. And it's been super fun, so I've been enjoying that. But anyway, yeah, this is going to be a podcast about myself. What's up this week with me? What's up this week with pop culture in the theme parks? And yeah, I'm going to put out once a week. And I'm going to try to figure out if anybody ends up watching this and knows how to, if I haven't figured it out by the time I go to post this, get it onto podcast feeds. I'm thinking Spotify. That seems to be the major one. And honestly, even though that is the major one, I listen to all my podcasts on Apple, on like the Apple podcast feed. So I don't know. I'm going to try to figure that part out separate, but I'm dialed into the YouTube. I got a nice little channel. We have over 500 subscribers now. So yeah, it's definitely going to be going there. It's going to be a weekly installment on the channel. And then if we can figure out how to stream the audio on podcasts, that'll be the icing on the cake. We'll figure it out. I figured everything else out. We'll figure that out. That's a little bit about what's going on with me. I'm reading Jurassic Park, figuring out podcasting. Huzzah. My name's Erin. I went to Syracuse. Those are the little tidbits you're going to learn about me this week. I've also got my air conditioning on. You know how you can set your air conditionings to the mode where it'll turn on and off based on the temperature? It's been so stinking hot this summer in Southern California. I don't want to burn out my air conditioning. So I set it to 77. So I may have to go adjust that because I can already feel, and I don't have my fan, I can already feel it's getting a little bit muggy. It feels a little like the Jurassic era, the Cretaceous era in my apartment right now. So we may have to adjust that. But I also didn't want it on blasting because it is loud and I want to have a good sound for my podcast. So Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, ScarJo, the guy from Bridgerton, good, all good. Let's see what else. Disney. Okay, this was my first idea. This was my idea in general for this podcast, was to talk about theme parky stuff. And one of the things I was thinking about when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about was this idea of going all in. How if you're going to do something, go all in. Like if you're gonna, write a book, go all in. Start outlining, set aside time every day. If you're going to want to learn how to podcast, go all in. Set up a microphone, figure out where you can post it. Like go all in, do the thing. And I feel like over the last 10 years or so, and I don't want to say 5 or 6 because then it really seems like I'm leaning into the COVID pandemic-y of it all. And I truly believe this happened with Disney prior to that. They stopped going all in. And you know who stepped it up and does go all in all the time? Universal. Who's opening a 4th gate? Technically 4 because I'm counting Volcano Bay in Orlando. Universal. And what is Disney doing? I don't know. Weird stuff at Epcot, rushing cruise ships from what I've seen online, rushing private islands. Like they're not going all in. And I feel like Walter Elias Disney, WED, like he built the company on going all in. He always went all in. He was like, I want to make cartoons. And he went all in and he used his own money and he put up his own house for leverage and he made Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And he was like, everybody was like, nobody's going to go see this. Walter Elias. And he was like, maybe not, but I want to see it. So I'm going to roll all in. And he went all in and that ended up getting like Academy Award nominations. It got him a ton of money. He could open up his own little studios. Like he went all in. He never wanted to like half a asterisk anything. He never did. He always was like, this is my idea. I'm committing to it for good or for bad. Because there are some horror stories out there of like how he treated some of his animators, the types of people he hired to work on his productions and build his things. There's a lot out there. That's not what this podcast is about because it's more about modern day Disney and the modern day look of the company. But he might have had a lot of faults. He obviously had a lot of faults. We're human. He's a human. All humans have faults. But one of his faults he did not have was rolling all in. When he committed to something, he was all in. It was going to be the best. It was going to be to his standard, to his quality. And if it wasn't, I feel like he would have just scrapped the project and been like, well, we tried. It's not what I want it to look like. So I'm pulling the plug. I got to put the AC on because I'm going to start to sweat. Okay, you are going to hear a rumbling in the background because I did, in fact, turn the air conditioning on because it's hot. It's Southern California in the middle of the summer and it's hot. And I was also getting heated thinking about what Walter would think about what his company that he built with him and his brother from scratch, from nothing, what he would think of it today. And the concept of this idea of Disney's, I don't know if it's, I do know. I think it's fear. They're so desperately afraid of negativity, bad press, and the biggest fear I think they have is money, like running out of money. Like, have they mismanaged their funds so horrifically that they're afraid to go all in on anything because they're just like, what they're really going all in on is just making money. Like, what can we do? How can we make it the cheapest, the fastest, so that we can get all of our money back? And that's just opposite of everything that Walt Disney stood for. And that the Disney that I grew up with in the 80s, the 90s, even in the early 2000s, it didn't stand for that. It stood for quality. It stood for the best. It stood for we're making this product for the people that we know love this as much as we love this, Imagineers, the poor Imagineers that are left there. I mean, I'm sure they're pitching these amazing, wonderful ideas and they're just getting chopped off at the knees. But yeah, it is not the Disney that I grew up with. And that's fine. I'm not some insane, crotchety old lady being like, it has to be like how it was when I was growing up. If anything, I want it to be better. Like, I'm rooting for you to be better, Disney. And you're not. And then I'm looking at Universal, who I also grew up with. I went to the Universal parks. I'm not that old. They were around when I was growing up in Orlando. And I remember always thinking they were cool and I really loved them because obviously I'm addicted to movies, have been, always will be. So like going to Universal Studios and taking like the tram tour and going on the E.T. ride and seeing King Kong in real life, like, yeah, that was amazing. But it never had that magic that Disney had. And now, honestly, I feel like Universal, whoever is running Universal right now, is like, I don't even think they're thinking of Disney. I think they're like, we're going to roll all in. We have these ideas. We're going to execute them. And they're grandiose ideas. That park, if you look at the conceptual models for it, if you look at any of the informational videos that Universal themselves are putting out about it, Epic Universe, which is going to be opening, I believe, in 2025 in Orlando, their fourth gate, because I'm counting the water park. So they'll have the original OG Universal Studios. They'll have Islands of Adventure. They'll have the water park that I'm obsessed with, and now I'm blanking on the name. This is why I need a co-host. Gosh darn it. What's the name of that water park? Adventure Islands? No. Universal Islands of Adventure. What the heck is the name? Volcano Bay. They have Volcano Bay, and now they're going to have Epic Universe. Everything I've seen about this park just looks like it's going to really, really possibly start pushing Disney to the sideline. I read this article the other day that was saying a lot of people right now travel to Orlando obviously to go to Disney. They stay in the Disney bubble. They stay at a Disney resort. They take a day or two to maybe go to one, maybe two of the Universal parks. And now people are saying with this new park and the hotels, I believe there's 3 hotels attached to it. Helios, the main hotel. And then they have the 2, I think, like moderate priced hotels, Stella Luna and Terra Nova. The hotels that are going to go along with the fourth gate, they're saying that people are going to want to stay at Universal and that Universal will become in Orlando the main destination. And then the offshoot, you take a day or two and maybe go to Magic Kingdom, maybe go to Animal Kingdom. We're going to get to Epcot in a second, but yeah, the Epic Universe in Orlando, I do think like Disney needs to look at that and then look at themselves and like look within, because the last products that they have released to the market space have just gone horribly wrong. Like almost to the point where I feel like they're punking us. Has anyone, if you found this channel and you found this video or this podcast, you know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point. Okay. If you're watching this video, you've watched those videos. What in the world were they thinking opening that island in that state? It is horrendous. And to hear some of these Disney podcasters and influencers who I stinking love, and I just feel like I don't feel like they're faking their enthusiasm. I think they want to love what Disney's putting out there. But I'm sorry, that island, when it opened to the media preview cruise and then the inaugural cruise, was not ready for public consumption. And they know the stakes are higher. They know it's different now. We have social media. They rely on social media. They should have known. They should have done a beta test. They should have done something. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just go watch any video from any person that was on one of those first few sailings to Disney's new private portion of that island. It does not look like Castaway Cay, their other private island. Castaway Cay was finished. It looked done. And granted, it's older, but it looked complete. This island just looked like literally someone deserted it. It looked like someone came in, cleared out space, and then just left it and didn't finish it. And I'm sorry, the flies, that is unacceptable. The fly situation on that island, from what I've seen, unacceptable. For $1 billion, with a B, multi-billion-dollar corporation to roll out. I'm being punked. We're being punked. And I get it. I get the influencers and the Disney people that went and tried to stay positive about it. Like, I get it. I don't think they were being fake. I think that they were truly trying to find the Disney that they remembered. But I'm sorry, that island was not. If Walter Elias Disney saw that, he would have been like, I'm out. I'm out. And he would have been that Homer Simpson meme. He would have just gone right back into the bushes. He wouldn't have let them open it. That would not have happened on his watch. I don't even think it would have happened on Roy's watch. Roy would have been like, this isn't done. We need to like finish the island before we invite guests. So that's one thing where they didn't roll all in. They got scared. They got freaked out. They're like, we've been talking about this island. We said when it was going to open. We can't push it. So let's just invite people and hope for the best. And they crossed their fingers and it didn't work. It didn't work. Prior to that, one of their big things that they pushed out was along their cruise lines was the Wish ship. That thing wasn't ready either. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand why they're putting product out in the market and charging thousands of dollars. Oh, we're going to get to when I did experience for thousands of dollars. But that Wish ship, again, maiden voyages, it wasn't ready. It wasn't ready. And it just looks cheap. It looks cheap. It doesn't look like the fantasy ship, and even I'm sure like the older ship, the Magic, like they had that cruise liner 1940s 1930s look about them. This one, the Wish, and I guess the other sister ships that are going to be released in this same capacity, the same class code, they just look cheap. Everything is like white and shimmery, but not a good white and shimmery. It's supposed to be enchantment is the theme. They're not all in. It's not all in. It's not an all-in ship. But they're charging prices like it is. So yeah, we had the debacle of the private island, the Wish just also not being completed, but rolling it out. And then my beloved, and I feel confident in saying these people that are on that island are not lying, the influencers or the Disney lovers, because I participated and got the chance to go to, because I saved my money and went and paid for everything myself, to the Starship Star Cruiser. Now, if you've watched Jenny Nicholson's most recent editorial podcast, YouTube video about that, she had a lot of points that I didn't agree with. Like, she really leaned in heavy to like the gaming scenario of it all. Like, the game didn't work for her. I don't know. As an adult, I don't think I was looking for like LARPing that was going to be on the level that maybe she was looking for. I just wasn't. I was not expecting it. Any kind of role-playing, interacting that I got to do, icing on the cake. I wanted to go to space with my best friends, and I did. So I had an amazing time. However, that being said, it was way too expensive for what it was. Like, insanely too expensive. Like, crazy, wild. And she made this point saying that if you paid all that money and you're talking to your normal, like, office coworkers about it, obviously you're not going to say anything negative about it because they already think you're crazy for spending $6, $7, $8, $10,000. I didn't pay that much. I think I paid $6, or maybe a little bit less actually, because my initial trip, I went down there, it got canceled. Also, that was handled terribly. I was down there during hurricane season. They sent me and my friend for her 40th birthday. We had planned this whole trip. We were going to go to the Starship, Star Cruiser, Halcyon. There was a storm coming. We asked. Everybody said, it's fine. They sent us over and then they canceled it completely. So when we rebooked it, we got it rebooked at a reduced price. So that was cool, but it was still thousands of dollars for a 2-night experience. But if you're paying that much money and you've told friends and family you've paid that much money, or they just know from it was everywhere how expensive it is, you're obviously not going to return from that trip and be like, it's okay. You just spent enough money to take someone's family to Europe for like 10 days. You're not going to be like, I guess it was fun. You're going to be like, yeah, it was great. It was a once in a lifetime. And it was a once in a lifetime. And I did have a good time. It just should never have been priced at that point. It didn't make any sense. And instead of maybe like taking a look at it and trying to course correct, also because they weren't all in, they just shuttered it. They closed it. They said, well, this isn't working. We don't know how to fix it. We don't want to take the time and energy to fix it. We're going to have it be a tax write-off. It's gone. Bye. And they just closed it. You know what that says to me? You're not all in. Go all in, for crying out loud. Disney, go all in. But at least I got to go. And it was cool. And I'll probably do a separate podcasty type video about that because it truly is once in a lifetime. And I loved Jenny Nicholson's editorial on it. It was fantastic. I honestly watched it like twice. It was so fascinating and interesting to see someone's take on it. But I don't know. I'd like to do not a rebuttal, but just put it out there as someone that was more middle of the road. I didn't hate it. I did love it. However, there were things and issues, mostly for me, it was the pricing tied around it, that packaged it, that I could speak on. All right, let me take a look at my notes here. So we talked about Universal rolling all in on that new park. That new park looks absolutely stunning and amazing, and I cannot wait for it. Back to Epcot. What is happening? Okay, Epcot was like my beloved growing up. I was obsessed with that park, everything that it stood for, Futureland, World Showcase, like literally obsessed. Like I wanted him, Walt, because as you all know, it wasn't going to be a theme park at all. Epcot stands for Experimental Prototype, either Community or City of Tomorrow. Like this guy was rolling all in on building his own city. Crazy. It was crazy. He wanted people living there. He wanted his own like school system, voting system, a little bit egomaniacal, but I feel like if you're going to be someone like Walt Disney, you're going to be egomaniacal. He literally built parks on his name. It would be like if I called a park Fitzgerald World. Welcome to Fitzgerald World. John Hammond, egomaniacal. But he also built Jurassic Park. So, I mean, where the dinosaurs do in fact eat the people when the ride breaks down, unlike on Pirates. But I don't know what they're doing in my beloved Epcot. Again, I'm going to be going in November, so I'll be able to see it and check it out for myself. But from everything I've seen online, like they were all in when they drew up the conceptual kind of like what revitalization, what they wanted to do to the park, to the front part of the park with the innovations sections, with the opening section where they used to have the beautiful fountain and like the crystal, statues that went like that. They were going to build this amazing looking festival center that was going to have like a pavilion on the bottom and then a glassed in middle area. It looked like a flying saucer, but cool. And then a rooftop garden on top. I've seen the pictures, the conceptualization pictures. They're so stinking cool. And instead we got Communicore Hall, which again, if you're watching or listening to this, it was like one of those things when I saw those first pictures of the island, when I saw how much they were charging for the Star Cruiser, when they showed the completed Communicore Hall, I was like, somebody's punking us. Like somebody in the company, somebody is like, oh, is it a mole? Do they want to take Disney down? I don't know. But it's wild beyond belief that they're putting out this product to the public, to social media, to people that they know go and film and document every single piece of what they're doing. And they're like, that's my man. Look at my Communicore Hall. And it's just a big, empty, open space with yucky chairs and tables. Everything looks cheaply made. Everything just looks like they threw a coat of paint on something and they were like, look what we did. We painted this for you. Look at this paint. And meanwhile, Universal's down the street going, we're opening a fourth gate. It's called Epic Universe, and BITCHES's, it gonna be epic. It's wild. I just don't understand how people in charge at Disney aren't looking at what Universal is doing and being like, maybe we need to rethink what's happening at our company. Yeah, and they took so long. Like if they had thrown up that new Communicore hall in like 6 months or a year, I think people would have been like, "Ah, that's weird, but I guess it's going to be used as a festival space." It took them like 5 years to do that, which that, and they got rid of that beautiful concept, the conceptual art that we all saw, the cool rooftop garden. And it's like amazing people having fun. No one's having fun in Communicore Hall. I saw a meme the other day. Someone was playing solitaire. That's not fun. But it's like, I feel like they maybe got halfway into the Epcot renovation projects. And I don't know, they like re-looked at their numbers, which is smart. You need to, but you should have looked at those numbers prior construction. And they were just like, we got to pivot. And then I feel like back in the day, what Walt Disney and his company would have done would have pivoted. He would have he would have found the money. He would have been like, I'll give up part of my salary. Bob Iger's not giving up part of his salary. Bob Chapek, we don't even know where he went. But I feel like Walter and Roy would have put their own houses up as like equity to get the vision to where they wanted it to be. No one's doing that. They're not doing that. The board of directors is not giving up their money so that Epcot can look amazing and spectacular and beautiful as she deserves to look. They're just like, let's just put up some flags and we'll call it a festival center. And that'll buy us more time because we're going to open it when there's no festivals happening. We're not stupid. Like, you're calling this a festival center and you're opening it in the slight window where there's no festivals going on, so you don't actually have to utilize the space for what you're saying it was built for. I don't get it. I just don't get it. They're just so scared of going all in. And I don't know what's going to change that or if it can even change. But see, now there's some parts of Epcot where I'm like, that looks beautiful. The Moana water thing, that looks amazing. It does look all in. And you know what else it looks? Finished. It looks complete. It doesn't look like they're going to have to go in and like redo it and touch it up down the line because the water starts getting moldy or it doesn't work. It looks good. Oh, okay, but that segues to what's the other big thing they're pushing on us over this summer, the summer of 2024? Tiana's Bayou. Okay, again, you've seen the videos. We've all seen the videos. That thing looks janky as AF. All get out. I'm sorry. Like, I don't understand. I simply do not understand. Beta test that. Beta test it more. Don't open it if it's not ready. Those memes and those videos and those pictures of her just frozen. I don't get it, Disney. I don't understand. You have the technology or you have access to people that have the technology. I've seen videos and pictures of the rides in Japan and Disney Tokyo Sea. I know. It's not technically a Disney park. It's owned by the Oriental Land Company who partnered with Disney. But that means you have foots on the ground. You have access to this technology, at least to see how it works. Like, at least try. Like, I just don't get it. And there are sections of that ride that look, I'm sorry, not finished. It's just black tunnels with like glittery lights. And the story, everyone's saying like the story just is out the window. Like they tried to pitch the story about finding magic salt and magic ingredients for her like celebratory meal she's cooking for her big party. And everyone's like, yeah, I didn't get that. I don't think that's the story anymore. It's like, why are you dropping everything mid into it? I don't get it. I mean, I do get it because they're too afraid to go all in. But yeah, Tiana's Bayou, when we get that one opened up here in Disneyland, and I'll go to it and we'll check it out for ourselves. But I'm more concerned about what they're doing or whatever they're not doing to Haunted Mansion. That's been under construction out here in Disneyland for months. And I just don't know. Like, again, the concept art looks really cool, really amazing. They're going to do like a little shop. I think like a little restaurant. Looks neat. The more projects they release, the more less faith. So I had this much faith, and then it went here, and then it went here, and look, now it's past my microphone. I just don't have any faith that they're going to launch something that, at least conceptually, for what we're seeing from Epic Universe, is on that level. Like, when are they going to do that? When are they going to do that? They're supposed to be setting the trend, and they're just falling so far behind. They've had so many missteps. Oh, and then I put here, yeah. Okay, whatever they are doing to Paris' second park. So I just found out about this. Apparently, again, they're like launching this huge renovation project. So at Disneyland Paris, I don't even think a lot of people know there's a second park, but there is. It's somehow supposed to be like Hollywood Studios in Orlando, which when I was growing up was MGM Studios and was actually pretty cool and cutting edge. Hollywood Studios now, they just use it seems to me, to shoehorn in Toy Story Land and Galaxy's Edge. I don't hear anybody else talking about the rest of that park. They got rid of the Great Movie Ride. They replaced it with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Okay, that's fine. That ride is cute. We got it out here at Disneyland. But in my memory banks, I got to go see Inside. Is it Inside Out? Inside Out 2. My memory balls. My memory bank balls of the Great Movie Ride are like, that was a ride. Like, you were literally in different movie scenes. It was like a 20-minute long ride. It was amazing. And now Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is cute. So you had this iconic classic attraction replaced by, yeah, that was cute. I don't get it. But anyway, there is a second park in Paris. So you have Paris Disneyland, and then you have this Studios park. And they're supposedly doing a pretty major overhaul renovation of it. Now, how long is that going to take? What's it going to look like? I've seen some of the concept art. Is it going to look like that? I don't know. I really don't know. Like, they need a win. They need an all-in win. They need to refurb something or put something in new. Guardians of the Galaxy ride, I've ridden that. I have seen that in person. Great ride. Amazing roller coaster. Is it like themed the way the old Epcot rides were themed, or even the way like the old Disneyland park rides were themed? Not really. I couldn't tell you what that storyline was. I don't know what we were doing. I was with the Guardians. I screamed my head off. I listened to a cool song, and then the ride was over. And I thought my friend had motion sickness. I didn't get motion sickness. I loved it. But it's just a cool ride. It's not, I don't know. It's just missing. They're missing something. They're like missing the mark. They need to refurb, open, do something that is going to at least put them back in the running. I really fear for them when Epic Universe opens, because everyone's like, oh, Disney's a billion-dollar company, blah, blah. Disney doesn't have anything. It's just a corporation. They're always going to make money. You know, I don't think that's true. I think Universal, and I think there's people running Universal that also don't believe that. They're like, hey, if we roll all in, let's open this amazing park. Let's open more resorts, and let's make them very affordable to stay at a gorgeous, amazing resort. I stayed at Cabana Bay. It was like 1/3 the price of the value resort at Disneyland. And it was amazing. I loved it. So I think there's people at Universal that are willing to go all in, that are willing to put in the money it takes to go all in, because I think they do see cracks in Disney's facade. I don't want Disney to have cracks. I love it. I grew up. I have my everything back here. It's probably blurry, but I have my buckets. I have my Figment doll. I'm a Disneyland girly. I'm an Epcot girly. I don't want cracks. I don't want to be on this podcast talking about, why can't they just get it right? But I'm sorry, why can't you just get it right? Does that mean you need to hire new people? Does it mean you need to go to your board of directors and just revamp it all? I don't know. Obviously, I don't know. I don't have the answers. I'm just sitting here hoping for the best. But I do think, and this will be kind of like my ending point for podcast number 1 on TheErinSpace, that my initial thought around this podcast, the all-in concept, I think that they need to do that. I think that is the foundation of the company, that he went all in. He was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put everything I have into it. And if it's not exactly how I want it to be, I'm not going to release it. And you hear other like content creators and other anyone in the arts, in the media, any creator, like the true creators, they will scrap an entire script if it's not working or if it's not up to their standard of what they want it to be. And I feel like Disney needs people on their board that have that mentality. Like, we've invested X amount of dollars, but this thing is crap. This island is crap and not finished. And it looks deserted. Looks like a deserted island and not in a good way. Let's bump the opening of it. Like, they have nobody stepping up in that position to do that. And I just think until they do, and until you are able to say, hey, I have standards, I'm willing to do what it takes to reach these standards, and until I reach them, we're going to shut it down. We're going to shutter it. And in the case of the Star Cruiser, they did do that, but they totally misconceptualized the point of doing that, because they had already opened it. It had been open. They'd been collecting people's money. They could have taken the money they'd already collected, shut it down for a month or two, re-strategized, and reopened it. Or never have opened it at all. Like, halfway. They're just halfwaying everything. And they got to go all in. So please, if this reaches the ears of any Disney people at all, I'm begging you, please, your next projects, your next revitalizations, renovations, whatever you're working on, please have somebody in the presence that has the guts, the intelligence, just the wherewithal, the self-awareness to roll all in. That's all I got. Thank you so much for listening and watching. If you appreciated this new content we're going to be putting out on TheErinSpace, please give it a thumbs up and drop your comments below. Do you agree, disagree? What things do you think Disney has rolled all in on? And do you think Universal is gaslighting us, or are they truly rolling all in on that new park? Because I think they're going all in and I cannot wait to see it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I, as always, will catch you in TheErinSpace. Bye. Please go all in. Please don't get rid of me.